Today we are crocheting this cute Easter basket. This is what the basket looks like close by. It's all in single crochets. We start doing the round bottom bit first. And the nice color variation comes from using different strands of yarn at the same time. The basket can also be decorated in various ways after you get it finished. Like this here looks as if there was grass in it. So let's start. So I have formed this thick yarn by using 6 balls of different yellows. You don't have to have 6, you can use any amount you happen to have, and you could also double one kind of yarn to get it thick enough. But make it so that it's very chunky. And then you need a large crochet hook. I have size 8 mm. So all the time that we crochet, you have all the 6 or whatever number of strands you have. You keep them together. I'm starting with the magic circle. You can also check this other video where I explain the magic circle more in detail. I just twist round once, loosen it enough for this thick yarn, and take a stitch and leave the loop and chain 1 tightly. And first we make 8 single crochets into the ring. 8. Single crochets into the ring, and for about half of that keep that end in the stitches and then leave it so we can pull the ring tight from it. I had 3. Seven and 8. And now take that end and pull it tight. And then after a while it's worth finishing off these yarns, and because it's this kind of yarn with lots of strands, it's better to weave each one in separate, or at most 2 by 2. And now still to finish off the round, a slip stitch into the first of these 8 single crochets. So that's our first round done. Then chain 1 and don't make any stitches into that same one where we just were, but in the next one 2 single crochets in that. And then 1 in the next one. And then again 2. So continue like this, 2 into the next one and 1 into the one after, which means that you will get 12 stitches on this round. That's that round, 12 stitches, and then close off the round. And because this yarn is so thick, we need to be increasing this same way on every round, instead of making more stitches in between the increases as you would in many works of this type. So chain 1 and again 2 single crochets in the next one and 1 in the one after, and again like this right round. So 2 in this one, always 2 and 1, 2 and 1 until you get round, and that will give you 18 stitches at the end. There's 18 on this round, and I finished it off with a slip stitch. So now we have done 3 rounds and we need 1 more for the base of the basket. And the last round of this here base, just the same, 2 into the next one and then 1 and right round like that, and you will end up with 27 stitches. After that we have the base done, And then what we need to do is to start the side of the basket, and that means that we simply crochet on without increasing. And to get a bit of a difference between the base and the side, I crochet the first round of the side into the back loops of the stitches. So it leaves this here that shows better. Chain 1 and then start in the back loop of each stitch. Just going right round without any increases. Right round. And then finish it off into both loops of the first stitch. And then we'll have 3 more rounds this same way, except that now we again start taking both loops of the previous stitch. So chain 1, and now to make a straight seam here, start in the same stitch where your chain stitch is, and 1 stitch into every one, right round, both loops each time. There, and again to start the next one, chain 1 and in that same stitch like this, and then continue round. So 2 more times. Now we have 2 for the side here, and then you need 2 more. After that is done, then we still have the handle to make. For that, chain 22. 22. And when you have those 22, fold the basket into 2 so that the chain starts at one end, so that way you see where the other side exactly is. And in there, attach that using a slip stitch, and check that your chain stays the right way around so it doesn't twist. And then another slip stitch there in the next stitch, and then take hold of that handle and make a single crochet into each stitch, going all the way across. And you do it in such a way that you only leave 1 strand on that side. So a single crochet into each of the chains. Like that across. Here, and then a slip stitch to finish it off. There, and then finish off the yarn ends, preferably 1 by 1. And then after that you'll shape it. And it depends now on what sort of yarn you have been using, if the handle stays like that. If not, what you can do, you can put thin wire inside it there. But mine is sturdy enough so it stays without it. So then when you have finished it, you can either leave it like this, or we can continue and decorate it a bit more. I'll decorate it like this. Here in southern Finland, the grass can slowly start to grow at the warmest parts around Easter time, so green grass is often used as Easter decoration. Take a long piece of green yarn and double it, and then put it into a needle and again double it. So we're actually sewing with 4 strands. The way we sew it is the same as for raya rugs or any kind of wall hangings with loops. I'll sew it on this top layer here, and starting here, this direction. I leave the first one a bit longer, then I'll cut it later. Then cross over and leave this hanging downwards, and insert the needle into the other side of the same stitch there. You always sew from right to left. Like that. In the beginning you may need to tighten them a bit. So here's one, and then we go to the next stitch, again from right to left, like that there. So you need to decide what length you want this to be. I'll have it like this here. We'll even them out later, so it's not that exact. And then again go across and sew the other side of that same stitch, like that. And this is how we continue. There. It's a bit too long maybe. And the other side of the stitch. So continue like this right round, and as soon as you run out of yarn, just take new one and start like this here. Here I have gone right round. Then take sharp scissors. See a link to these ones in the description. I find these the best. And cut all these loops open. There. And at this stage you may want to wet them a bit if they are not straight. So that depends on the yarn you have, just so that it will be easier to cut them straight. So cutting here. There's my grass. And you can continue decorating depending on what you like. In Finland we use a lot of colored feathers for Easter decoration. So I'm putting some of that on it and tie it with the lace bow. Here. Here they both are finished. And also check out the video about crocheting these Easter eggs.